Alright, let's try this puzzle again. Hopefully I'll be a bit more successful. I mean, it's barely even worth calling a puzzle, and yet it still kicked my ass last time. At least, okay, I have 2 items. There's one last one left, and yeah, okay, I just saw it over there, so if I can, yep, I think I'm about to get it, and oh wow, it even leaves me close to the stairs. So, yeah, that was pretty easy once I actually knew what to do. Let's just pretend I needed a reconnaissance run instead of, you know, assuming that I absolutely suck. That's better for my ego. So, burn, baby, burn! That sounds like a very un-N-like thing to say. It just doesn't fit it. It just doesn't fit in with his character or his dialogue. And we finally meet yet another Plasma Sage. This one is Giallo, who, of course, doesn't appear in Black and White 2 at all. And, yeah, of course, he's too much of a pussy to fight me himself, so he just 6'4" Plasma Grunts after me. So, while I fight them, I'm going to, I have a chance to talk about the new Dream World area that just came out. As a result of this new expansion, we now have access to every non-starter, non-legendary Dream World ability, save for 2, Chandelure and Volcarona. Now, why they think Swarm Volcarona is so OP, I have absolutely no idea, but Chandelure, really not much of a surprise, considering that they gave out Gotharita, of all things, through an event instead of just putting it in the Dream World, so they're really worried of what Shadow Tag can potentially do. So the fact that Chandelure is one of the last 2 non-starter, non-legendaries left is a sign, as if there weren't enough, that well, those who think that Game Freak and Nintendo don't care one bit about competitive play and don't follow the competitive scene clearly have no idea what they're talking about. Because that would be a freakishly huge coincidence for Chandelure to just so happen to be one of the last 2 if, you know, it's not... If they just didn't think about what it could potentially do in the metagame. And I don't believe in coincidences this huge. And besides, they've thrown competitive players plenty of bones before, so clearly they're keeping tabs on it, to an extent. Also, something that I wanted to mention right now, just so we can put that to rest forever, or until one of my many auditively impaired viewers would ask me, whichever comes first. No, I don't have a Wii U, and I'm not planning on buying one anytime soon. I'm gonna wait until it has more of a library or a price drop or whatever. But, you know, it's just something I very rarely do, you know, buying systems at launch. I did so for the 3DS. I bought it near launch because, well, I needed one considering the whole online connection situation with, you know, me losing access to my USB dongle. But still, it's something that I very rarely do, and it has nothing to do with that retarded it's a gimmick! You know, that bullshit excuse for everything, you know, from people who hate Nintendo so much, don't know why anyone would hate a company so much. Well, one like Nintendo, I can sort of understand hating companies with shady business practices like, say, Activision or Zynga or things like that. But Nintendo, I don't think it's worthy of that much hate for no apparent reason. And that gimmick bullshit just doesn't hold any water, because Nintendo's last gimmick is currently beating the shit out of the Vita. The one before that beat the PS3 and the 360, and the one before that stomped a mud hole into the PSP. So I don't think any of these people are qualified to tell Nintendo how to make their money. I mean, if you don't like Nintendo's products, fine, but don't go dismissing them for everyone else just for some bullshit reason that history proves doesn't hold any water. Okay, sorry about that. I needed to vent because I've seen so much bullshit in the last few days about the Wii U, and quite honestly, since I haven't played it yet, I can't really evaluate it for myself. But considering Nintendo's recent track record with gimmicks, well, what was I saying? Whatever, doesn't really matter anyway. So, apparently Giallo is very optimistic about Team Plasma's chances because, well, beating these 4 grunts took a while, even if it was very easy, and we made it to the summit of Dragon Spiral Tower. And we are too late! Seems like N has already befriended Reshiram, who has accepted him as the hero. That's right! The legendary hero is the villain. I really like what they did with that overdone legendary hero cliche here, having it turn out to be the villain. I'm pretty sure there's probably a trope for that, but I have no idea what it's called. But nonetheless, yeah. And now his intention is to go to the Pokemon League and defeat the champion in order to be able to influence people into releasing their Pokemon. Because clearly, having a big-ass legendary Pokemon isn't enough. It also is, by the way, a Blue Eyes White Dragon. There! I made the obvious connection. Now can you leave me alone with that, even though nobody's mentioned it yet? But yeah, he's suggesting that I go to search for Zekrom. And the reason why he's so kind as to give me that hint is because over the course of his own journey, his convictions have started to waver, and he wants me to test them in a battle to the death between Reshiram and Zekrom. So, yeah, this is basically his only reason for doing so, because, and well, I say he's a villain, but he's more, well, it's sort of hard to explain his role in the game into a single world, but whatever. As we watch Ann leave on his sweet new ride, Sharon and Bryson arrive. A wee bit too late, unfortunately. But at least they allowed me to get by those 7 grunts without having to battle them, which saved me quite a bit of time anyway. But yes, apparently he's the hero. That's right, the guy who wants to cut off any relationship between people and Pokemon is the legendary hero. And, yeah, time to go back. At least we won't have to go through the entire tower again, including that Galette Armageddon room. But, anyway, now we're having a little meeting just outside the tower. Team Plasma's boss apparently reawakened the legendary Pokemon. Well, yeah, we all saw it, I guess. There are 2 legendary dragon-type Pokemon? Actually, no! No! No, there aren't! Whoever you are! Oh, it's Alder, but no! Everyone's forgetting about Kyurem! Kyurem is forever alone! Though, I guess it's not very relevant in the story of this game, but it's a pretty big deal that, you know, there's actually 3 legendary dragon Pokemon in Black and White too, so it's just funny that this line would come here about, you know, there being 2 to begin with. But, yeah, Alder is suggesting that, yeah, if N manages to become the champion using Reshiram, then people will just be forced to release all their Pokemon. So the only way left to stop N is to search for Zekrom. Because, well, Alder is a pretty strong trainer, but N's got a freaking Reshiram, and legendary Pokemon are typically much more powerful in the lore than in actual gameplay terms. Just look at the anime for about a gajillion examples of that. So, yeah, seems like Alder isn't very confident in his own ability to stop N, either that or he just wants to put all the odds on our side as much as possible. So yeah, we certainly can't let Team Plasma reawaken them both. That would actually be pretty terrifying. Fortunately, it doesn't look to be An's intention to begin with. So yeah, now we're going to head to the Relic Castle. Remember that place in the desert where we could only check out the first 2 floors and the rest of the dungeon was blocked off? Well, now we can actually explore, well, not the entire remainder of the place, but most of it. And Sharon finally gets the clue that the game has been trying so hard to hammer into his head to begin with. So, I'm gonna have to head to the Relic Castle. Yeah, this has turned into a pretty big deal. If you don't know what to do, well, I guess don't do anything. I mean, it's not like your help is gonna change anything. Yeah, you should just go home at this point. You suck, Bianca. Anyway, let's head to the Relic Castle from Nimbasa. And while I go heal my Pokemon and head to the Relic Castle, Mystery Dungeon 3 is coming out today in Japan. And we already know a few things about the game. Quite frankly, I am not that impressed with what we've learned so far. I mean, once the more in-depth stuff starts coming in, it might change. But so far, there are a few things, most notably the gold cap. Gold, I say gold. The money cap, which is very, very low. And a few other annoying things, like, for example, there are only 138 Pokemon during the main story. Don't they ever learn? 138 is way too little, unless the main story is as short or even shorter than in the first mystery dungeon. So yeah, overall, I didn't want to say this, but I'm skeptical. I'm not going to say it sucks because, of course, I haven't played it yet, but I'm sort of skeptical. I think there's a good chance that Explorers of the Sky might still remain the quintessential Mystery Dungeon experience, and that would be a pretty big failure on Chunsoft's part. Of course, there's the fact that Mystery Dungeon 2 was so amazing to begin with. It's a tough act to follow no matter how you cut it, but it's still a shame. So, we got the entrance to the Relic Castle here, and okay, what now, Sharon? Yes, I've been here before. I know this. Making it here before I did where... Well, it's called the Fly HM. Use it, goddammit! I mean, wasn't Bianca supposed to have given you one of these? So, what, that's it? Why do you cut me off? Now's not the time to be wasting time. So, that worker at the far... Well... that was at the far left of the screen. He was the one who blocked the way forward to those stairs, but that's where we have to go now, because obviously what we've seen thus far of this place doesn't really qualify as a dungeon. So once again, just a reminder, you want to walk around the edges. You don't want to go to the middle, and you don't want to run either. Sand is cleared away, so now you can proceed. Until Black and White 2, where there's even more sand than before. Anyway, this is Ryoku, the last of the sages that we had yet to meet. So, apparently we're gonna get tested next time on Let's Play Pokemon White.